I think that artists can play a very important role in shaping government policy and practice by becoming vehicles for communities, by becoming essentially their tools. One of the things that I've struggled with is learning how to include community in a practice that's often a little bit rigid and exclusionary just because it's very technical. And public art is a very complex area for that reason. But we have tended to decide who we as a culture honor through our public art, and at the same time who we don't honor. When we don't see those faces, when we don't see those people represented.
That one. I mean, actually, it would cast just it would be fine.
We won't do it like this, Dad. We won't do it like that.
But he's gonna remember the building. He's gonna remember Vine Street in Roxbury. He's gonna say, Dad, do you remember where we did that at? Do you remember how we put our hands together? Do you remember the hands that was in the room? You put your thumb in, Ready? 1, 2, straight down the middle. Let's go.
And if you touch the bottom, just come up again a little bit.
Okay. Right there, buddy. Right there. Stay right there. Stay right there.
And you can move it just a little bit in the beginning, but then I'll tell you when it's important too.
One of the things that I've learned about community through this process is that it's not at all monolithic. I mean, I sort of knew that before, but when you use the word community, it's almost as if there's an identity associated with that community, and maybe there is sort of externally, but a community is every individual person that participates in that community. I think in the end, I'm hoping it will lead to, for me, a means to bring the community more into policy making and public art making. The issue of false narratives, that goes to the heart of what we are trying to do with public art. Are they false narratives, or are they what a certain group of people wanted? Yeah, right. And then how do you tell the story of a city that's in the process of constant change and is comprised of so many different people? And I think that it's just such a, I think permanent installations are, I think, in one respect, highly problematic because it vitrifies or memorializes one idea of ourselves at a certain moment, whereas temporary work, it has more flexibility. It can tell a lot of different stories and can do so interactively and in a way that's constantly changing. So for me, I'm moving, I hope to keep moving in 3 different directions at once. First, I'm first and foremost an object maker and an artist, and I want to keep making things, making public art, and I love the process of clay to bronze to site. That's the, but I just always want to do that. But I also think that community engagement needs to have a place in that process, or it needs to be its own separate process in my work, and I think temporary installation work is also something that I want to continue to do. And just let it be a place where whatever I'm doing as a public artist making permanent work, I can approach the whole thing in a different way and maybe turn it on its head. If I'm lucky enough to be able to do all 3 things moving forward all the time, that's what I hope to do.
Let your fingers out. There you go. Let it out.
Oh, look at that!
Some of the work that I've made with people collaboratively have been parents and their children's hands, parents and children's hands, and there's this sadness and joy at the same time because a life cast captures a moment that's about to disappear, and children grow up so quickly. It's this moment of discovery, and it's often self-discovery because I'm taking a piece, I have taken pieces out of the mold while the person was there, and sometimes they come and see the work after the fact, and it's standing on its own, and there's this sort of fascination with seeing themselves in this form. Whatever these life casts represent in terms of individual moments in people's lives, they also are a moment in the community center's life, before it changes, before it opens again with a new identity, and everything's a little bit different.
Say bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. See you later.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.